This meeting is being recorded, and you'll find this evening's presentation along with that recording soon on our website, purplelinemd.com. We are also informing all participants tonight that the use of AI-powered tools, including transcription, summarization, or similar features, is prohibited by the Maryland Department of Transportation for all virtual meetings, such as our Microsoft Teams meeting this evening. Please be assured this presentation will be available to view on the Purple Line website as soon as possible, along with the responses to questions that are answered tonight. For those of you who would like a live translation, Microsoft Teams format can translate this evening's comments into a number of languages, including Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, French, and many others. Instructions to see live translations are being placed in the chat section of this meeting. We kindly ask everyone to please mute your microphones and keep your cameras off until the presentation ends, and we move into questions. Catherine, a member of our communications and outreach team, will now relay this information to you in Spanish. Catherine?
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo el español, árabe, chino, francés, portugués y mucho más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Catherine. The team will provide updates on the project, including completed and upcoming construction work. You will be one of the first groups to view our fall progress video and see the latest photos along the alignment. We will also take a look at recent community and business engagement, and we'll wrap up this evening's presentation meeting with a question and answer session. And we do ask people hold all questions until after the presentation is completed. Tonight, we are joined by Ray Biggs II, the Senior Project Director for the Maryland Transit Administration, John Undelin, the Communication Director for our concessionaire, Purple Line Transit Partners, Hugo Fonteroche, the project executive, for Maryland Transit Solutions, which is our design builder, Luis Rivera, the general manager of Purple Line Transit Operators, myself, Chris Scruggs, MTA Community Outreach Manager, Ricardo Gracia, MTS Construction Segment Lead, Julio Velez, MTS Construction Manager, Scott Glass, MTS Construction Area Manager, and Matt Pripich, our MTS Corridor Wide Manager. Tonight, we'll cover the segment of the alignment that covers the following three stations: Silver Spring Station, Silver Spring Library Station, and the Dale Drive Station. With that, please let me introduce our Senior Project Director, Ray Biggs. Ray?
Thank you, Chris. Welcome everyone again tonight, and thank you for joining us this evening for our CAT meeting. As you're about to see in our new fall 2025 progress video, the momentum on the Purple Line in 2024 has evolved into a tremendous transformation throughout 2025. This video highlights some of the transformational progress across the 16-mile Purple Line alignment. So let's go ahead and play the video, Chris.
It has truly been the year of transformation for the Purple Line project. With construction now more than 80% complete, the new Purple Line tracks tell the story. We are excited to share that tracks have been installed across all of Prince George's County, with more than 75% of tracks complete across the entire project.
Along with track installation, you have likely seen many overhead catenary system poles installed this year. These poles carry the wires that power the Purple Line. At the eastern end of the project, the poles and wires are not only installed, but have already been energized, ready to power up the light rail vehicles.
Just a reminder, always assume light rail system power is on. And please be sure to avoid the Purple Line right-of-way areas. Only cross at designated areas and crosswalks, and be sure to look both ways before you cross.
Across the corridor, stations continue to progress. Canopies, benches, and art and transit installations are being added. Bronze spires in Riverdale, vibrant colors in Long Branch, and more to come. More than 20 roadway crossings that once required detours are now in their completed phase, including the complex intersection of Wayne Avenue and Fenton Street. With the tracks in place, Silver Spring residents can see the vision of a more connected community becoming reality. In Littonsville, the second operations and maintenance facility is taking shape. This building and track yard will support the light rail vehicles with an additional control and communications facility and a smaller maintenance facility located in Montgomery County. Another major milestone is the completion of blasting in Bethesda. After years of excavation, the shaft and cavern, located nearly 150 feet, or about 15 stories underground, is finished. Crews are now focused on waterproofing and concrete work, building out the cavern and elevator spaces. Perhaps most exciting during our year of transformation, dynamic testing of the Purple Line has begun. Light rail vehicles are running during nighttime hours between the Glen Ridge Operations and Maintenance Facility and New Carrollton. The vehicles and track systems undergo rigorous checks of safety, operational, and communications. With New Carrollton testing underway, it won't be long before testing expands westward along more sections of the Purple Line.
Seeing a Purple Line light rail vehicle arrive at the first of our 21 stations is an exciting reminder of the hard work and dedication all of our teams bring every day to complete this transformative project. Thank you for your support, patience, and engagement over this past year. We at Maryland's Purple Line are looking forward to coming to a station near you soon.
Thank you, Chris. Here you can see the timeline graphic with some of our upcoming major milestones, including our winter 2025 delivery date of all 28 light rail vehicles to the Glen Ridge Operations and Maintenance Facility on Veterans Parkway, and completing track installation in the spring of next year across the entire alignment. Though I do want to highlight that all of the track has been installed on the Prince George's side of the Purple Line. Tonight, you will see and hear more details about the expanded dynamic testing milestone achieved earlier this summer, and where the Purple Line will expand its dynamic testing throughout this fall and into 2026. With that, I will turn it over to Scott to walk us through the construction slides. So thanks everyone. I'll see you back at the end of the presentation. Over to you, Scott.
Okay, thank you, Ray. I'll start here with our first slide here, Wayne Avenue and Fenton, our update for the work in Silver Spring was a big milestone this summer. We got the track placement across the intersection at Fenton Street and Wayne Avenue, and the intersection's been reopened to traffic. This was a lot of work this summer. Took a lot of coordination to be prepared in advance and prepare the community, but it did open as planned. At the Spring Street Bridge, we've been working hard to get out of the ground, and we have recently completed the last of the remaining old bridge demolition. And just last night, we finished the installation of the girders over the CSX and Metro tracks. And we will be continuing utility relocations, underground storm drain activity in the areas still underway. Upcoming work we have will be, of course, completing the new bridge abutments and the bridge deck, but also as the bridge deck gets placed, we'll be completing final utility relocations of these major aerial crossings and completing the reconstruction of the bridge for opening to the public. We have here a diagram of our current ongoing Spring Street detour, which will remain in effect through the end of 2025. Just down the street on Colesville Road, we have had a lot of activity underway on the LRT overhead bridge crossing. We've completed the construction of the light rail bridge ramp. We've begun the track placement, actually completed the track placement at this point across the light rail bridge. And we're preparing the for the overhead catenary across the bridge at this point. Upcoming work will be completing they're securing the rails across the bridge over the next month. And then we'll be moving into the overhead catenary installations across the LRT bridge. And then we also have upcoming work that will complete the last span of the CCT trail over Colesville Road and the placement of the bridge deck across that Capitol Crescent Trail pedestrian bridge. The Silver Spring Station has been progressing as well. The station continues with utility installations, service utilities for water and sewer. We're continuing the elevator and stair access construction, particularly on the interiors. We've nearly completed the exteriors of those structures. We've recently started and are in progress on the elevator installation. And we've not only begun, but we have completed the track installation across the platform. The upcoming work will be continuing the finishes at the platform level on the station. We have all of the canopies and railings in place, and there are remaining elements to punch out with lighting and crossings at the station platform level. We'll complete the construction of the stair and elevator mechanical systems in the stair access. And we'll be finalizing the track installation and the overhead catenary pole installation and wire crossings. Next slide. At the Transit Center mezzanine structure, we've been continuing the work to complete the steel erection across the mezzanine level. We've installed the stair canopies and the escalator canopies. And we're continuing the placement of the structural elements on the roof of the steel structure. In the coming months, we'll be completing the roof on that structure. We got out of alignment here, but we also have upcoming work with utility installations and retaining walls that are along the CSX tracks for the CT trail. Next slide. I'm going to turn it over to Ricardo, who's joined us. He's our segment manager for segment 3 through Silver Spring.
Thank you very much, Scott. And good evening, everybody. Here in Ramsey intersection, we got the track completed, and we recently reopened the intersection. Coming up, we are going to continue the roadway reconstruction, completing the overhead utility relocations and the OCS poles and wire installation. In Bonifant Street, there has been a lot of work happening recently. We completed the overhead catenary system foundations, the reconstruction of the roadway, curb and sidewall on the north side of Bonifant Street, shifted the traffic to the north side of Bonifant, and continue the underground utilities on the south side of Bonifant Street, and install the traffic signals and pedestrians crossings at Georgia Avenue. We anticipate to reopen the Georgia intersection in November. That includes the 3 lanes of traffic on each direction. Coming up, we also have continuing the OCS pole and wire installation, and complete the curb and sidewall reconstruction on the south side of the street. In the Silver Spring Library, we completed the truck installation along the library and the alleyway adjacent to Bonifan building, and completed the installation of continue the installation of the pavers on the station platform. Coming up, we are going to complete the pavers north and south of the station, complete the sidewalks and ramp going into the station platform, finish some station elements, and do the traffic signal work at Bonifan and Fenton intersection. Fenton and Wayne Avenue intersection, we completed all the utility relocations and DACBAN installation, finished the track throughout the summer, and continue the curb and sidewalk reconstruction. Coming up, we will complete all the curbs and sidewalks. We still have some pending, and perform the final paving and begin the installation of the OCS poles and wires. In Wayne Avenue between Fenton to Dell, we have completed the reconstruction of all retaining walls and all OCS foundations. We finished all the DACBAN installation and are currently continuing, almost finishing the storm drain and sewer. Currently, we only have remaining the portion at Cedar intersection. We established a work zone in the center of Wayne Avenue to continue with the track installation. Coming up, we will complete as I was saying before, the storm drain and sewer around Cedar, complete the track installation from Dartmouth to Fenton, and complete the installation of the OCS poles and wires. From Dell Drive to Sligo Parkway, we have been working we have been working on completing the track and DACBAN installation, the OCS foundations, and we continue working on sidewalk and roadway reconstruction, building the curb and sidewalk especially on the west side of Dell Drive station between Dell Drive and Cedar. Coming up, we are shifting the traffic to the permanent configuration. We still have some quite a lot of remaining sidewalk and curb to finish the reconstruction and complete the installation of the OCS poles and wires. In Dell Drive, we installed the station platform and canopy. Also, you have probably seen the arts in transit elements, and continue the station elements, including the lighting. Coming up, we have some finishes that we need to perform and installing the OCS systems. In Silver Spring International Middle School, we finished all the storm management facilities during the summer shutdown of the school. We also completed the last wall adjacent to the parking lot, and finished the utility work to the traction power substation. Coming up, we will finish the curb and sidewalk inside the school next to the wall. We finished it. It's actually happening this weekend, taking opportunity of the 2 days of break. And we will we'll continue the OCS wire and pole installation and the landscape around the school, the landscape elements around the school. In Sligo Bridge, we have been working very hard to complete it. We recently completed the construction of the stream and both abutments, installed the girders, completed the construction of both approach slabs, and overall we are continuing finishing on working on the phase 2 of the of the bridge, which is the south side. And right now we are working on installing the track along the bridge and on the intersection of Sligo Parkway. And we will continue with so we are first starting on both sides of the bridge, and then we will finish doing the portion along the bridge. Coming up is our main focus is to open the bridge to the traffic. On East Wayne Avenue, we completed the water line relocation and ductbank installation, the retaining walls construction, all the storm drains is finished right now, and we continue working on the track construction on the south side of Wayne Avenue. Coming up, we will complete the reconstruction of roadways and sidewalks and the installation of the OCS poles and wires. We have two traffic detours in place right now. The first one is at Manchester and Sligo Parkway to Manchester Place. Sligo Parkway will remain temporarily closed between Wayne Avenue and Piney Branch Road, and this is expected to last 2 months. And Sligo Creek Trails remain open with a detour to the public. This is the detour plan of Sligo Parkway. Pretty much, we're using Manchester Road and Flower Avenue to detour all the traffic, and the rest of the parkway remains open. We are only closing this section. In Dixon Avenue, we recently closed it, and it will remain closed until January 2026. Ripley Street to Ramsey Avenue is already open, so access to the parking garage and business on Bonifant Street West will be maintained, and pedestrian access will also be maintained. Yeah,
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ricardo and Scott, for that detailed update on the construction through this segment. Matt will now provide us a systems and testing update. Matt, over to you.
Thank you, Scott. Good evening, everyone. To start off our systems and testing phase portion of the update, we'd like to share with you a brief video of some of the exciting testing that's ongoing throughout the eastern limits of the project.
Welcome to the Purple Line. Next stop, New Carrollton.
Thank you. So to start off, we'll talk a little bit about the testing sections. So the alignment for the Purple Line is broken up based on several features of the project. into different testing sections. These are determined by the locations of track features such as interlocking, as well as the individual OCS wire segments for the project. Testing is ongoing in our section 1 of the project and is anticipated to begin in section 2 in the coming months. While we are not testing in your neighborhood currently, you can expect to hear more soon from our outreach efforts before the testing does begin near you. What to expect during testing? Maintenance of traffic. So MOT is a big part of what the public will encounter during the testing phase of the project. Until all of the traffic control systems are operational and certified, we'll have maintenance of traffic crews, uniformed police officers in place to keep everyone safe during the testing phase. This will include intermittent traffic stops at road crossings. A specific maintenance of traffic protocol is developed for each test section. Hours of the testing, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And the public should consider the sections live and expect to see LRVs periodically during the testing periods. Outreach. The outreach program focuses on communications to, of course, the community, coordination with state administration and other parties, the advanced communications to elected officials, variable message boards will be utilized to communicate, in-person outreach at schools, local businesses, and impacted communities, public notices, posted updates on purplelinemd.com, and of course, our safety-focused social media campaign. Safety during testing. So last but not least, during and after testing, it's important to remember that the public should consider the track and OCS wires live and expect to see the LRVs moving day or night during these testing phases. Important safety reminders include obeying traffic signals, looking for the LRVs when crossing the track. Very important to use only approved crosswalks, not to walk on or near the tracks, and not to stop or park a vehicle on the tracks. As a general reminder, the overhead catenary system does carry 1500 volts DC. Assume that all of the OCS wires as they get installed are live and extremely dangerous at all times. Thank you, and back to you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Matt. Appreciate that. We're going to talk through a couple of different community engagement slides here. Our outreach team did attend 18 events this year, which is 9 more than the previous year. Some pictures here in the list are some recent events in 2025 that included, but did not all of them, but Sligo Creek Elementary School Back to School Night, National Night Out in Silver Spring is pictured here. Long Branch Festival, Bethesda Arts Festival, Rhode Island Avenue Trolley Trail Day, some farmers markets, a career day at New Hampshire Estates Elementary School pictured here, and University of Maryland Day. Planning is currently underway with our partners for 2026 opportunities to increase community engagement and awareness. Speaking of University of Maryland Day, this is a bike and scooter safety campaign, that we launched at first on the University of Maryland campus to just inform students of how to interact with tracks safely. So this will soon be rolled out further along the alignment. But when crossing Purple Line tracks, please remember to use crosswalks where possible. Crosswalk across at right angles, perpendicular to the tracks as pictured here. Do not ride parallel in the trackway as tires can get caught. And to always use extra caution when it's wet or frozen outside as the rail can be slippery. This is just a couple pieces of CAP member engagement over the past year. Based on some feedback, CAP members were contacted earlier in 2025 about their continued interest in working as a CAP member and also engaged on different engagement ideas with the community. Our outreach team has started monthly individualized phone calls to CAP members along the alignment and will soon reintroduce CAP member listening sessions. Our outreach team did broaden distribution efforts for this fall series of CAP meetings to include outreach and distribution efforts at local community centers, libraries, and coffee shops. And outreach did implement feedback from a post CAP meeting survey, which was sent after the spring series of CAP meetings. So you can expect to see a post CAP meeting survey in the coming weeks as well. With that, I will pass it over to John to talk us through our Beyond the Rails grants.
Thank you, Chris, and apologies, folks. My camera is not behaving this evening, but with regard to Beyond the Rails, we're always excited to talk about our grant program, which we established to provide nonprofit groups with additional funding to continue improving our local community. For our most recent grants, this is our fourth group, we actually received a record number of applications, and so many and so worthy were the applications that we decided to award 8 grants rather than our typical 6. You can see some of the grantees on the screen here, including some in Silver Spring, Sligo Creek Elementary, and so forth. I'd like to close by inviting, if any of you all are associated with a group doing good works in our community, please consider applying for one of our grants. Our deadline is just 6 weeks away, the 30th of November, and applying is just as easy as filling out a 2-page application form. Just go to resources on purplelinemd.com. The drop-down menu will walk you through it. If there's any questions, you can shoot us an email at grants@purplelinepartners.com, and we'd be glad to help out. Thanks very much. Now I'll throw it to Ray, I believe.
Thank you for that, John. So our Purple Line Business Relationship Manager, Leslie Leith, who is on tonight, works with the business engagement team along the alignment, alerting them to construction impacts and providing advanced notifications in both English and Spanish. This outreach is aimed at minimizing disruption and maximizing awareness. Additionally, our team promotes businesses on our website, on our monthly newsletter, and all over our social media platforms. I invite you to visit our YouTube channel to see some of the business spotlight videos that our team has produced. Now, on another topic, the Purple Line Small Business Grant Program, operated by the Secretary's Office of the Maryland Department of Transportation, began back in early this year, and since then we've awarded more than 140 businesses grants in a total of $1.5 million in 2025. The application period for the third round did open back on October 6th, and online applications are due by November 7th, 2025. You can find more information and the application link on our website at purplelinemd.com. Again, that's purplelinemd.com. I'll pass it back over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. This is just a contact page, so if you have any questions for us at Purple Line, you can contact us either on our outreach email, through media, or our business emails here, as well as both of our English and Spanish hotlines and our social media handles here. We are now going to enter the question and answer period of this evening's meeting. So you have 2 options here of how you can ask questions to project leadership. You can raise your hand using your Teams feature on Teams, or you can type in the chat and we can ask your questions. I'm going to go to Joel first. I see you have your hand raised. Joel, we'd love to answer your question.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. And I did have a comment. I accidentally left the chat, so I had to use my microphone to answer that question. I think I might have mentioned this before. The federal government is still closed and they don't have no funding for the bill to keep the government open. I don't know if that's going to be affected on that Purple Line. That's one question. And another question is, how about the bus service? Are they going to have feeder buses to the station? I know Silver Spring not going to have it. They don't the station's on top of the bus bays, so they probably have no problem with that. But Wayne Avenue might have a problem with those
Yeah, Joel,
buses.
We're still working on your answer for the buses, and we're going to follow up with you personally on that. To answer your question about the shutdown, the project is fully is funded, so we don't need to worry about the shutdown in terms of finances for the project. So we're good to go there.
Okay, and how about you're gonna have a few buses from the different stations?
Yeah, we're still working on that answer for you, Joel. We were just talking about it before this meeting, and we're gonna send you an email or call you personally after the meeting. Okay.
Okay. And I just have to wait for the fare. I know you had Trump card and the Smart Trip cards.
You got it.
Gonna be utilize that for the overline fare system.
Yes, we are still working out the fare, and that will be shared later. But we can absolutely share that with once we have that information.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Joel. I'm gonna jump with, I see two hands raised really quickly. Todd Johnson first, if you want to ask your question, we'd love to hear from you. Todd, do you can't hear you at this exact moment. We'd love to answer your question if you want to ask the question, Todd. We're still having a hard time hearing you. If you want to put your answer in the chat, Todd, we're happy to answer. I'm going to jump to Beth, who has their hand raised. Beth, if you want to ask your question, we'd love to hear you.
Yes, thank you so much. So my question is regarding the Purple Line grant for businesses. And I'm a business owner, and my business is on that Bonifant Street, where it's heavily affected by the ongoing construction. But I've applied for the grant twice, and unfortunately, I was disqualified because I opened my business in 2023. So is there any chance that we might get the support on this last round? Because as I mentioned, my business is like being heavily affected by the construction. So I would like to hear about that.
Yeah, Beth, in terms of eligibility, I am going to ask Ray. Ray, are you able to answer a little bit of eligibility question in that respect?
So yes, thank you for your question. The eligibility requirements for the grant program are posted on the website. The program is operated by the Maryland Department of Transportation. So I'll say that you can find all the information there, and we hear your question, and we'll have to take that back.
Thank you, Ray. I do see that Todd put, or Beth, I apologize. Beth, do you have a follow-up question? I see your hand is raised.
No, he answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. I see Todd is typing in the chat, but there's a question before from Larry that I want to get answered for Larry. Larry asks, when will the south side of Bonifant Street be completed? As you know, there are many commercial tenants affected by the construction here. Scott or Ricardo, are you able to answer that question here for us about the south side of Bonifant Street?
Yes, I can answer that question. So we are going to start the works in the sidewalk and the roadway coming up. That there are still a lot of work remaining in terms of OCS installation and lighting installation. So so it will start becoming better, a lot better soon. But the completion of that is expected to spring 2026. Although in the next couple months, we're going to see most of the sidewalk completed.
Thank you, Ricardo. I see there's a comment here from David in the chat about business grants taking things back to Maryland Department of Transportation regarding eligibility. We can absolutely take that back and bring that up and follow up with the findings of that. So David, we do hear you there, and we will touch base with you there. Web asks a question. How many testing sections are there, and what number section is the downtown Silver Spring area? Matt, are you able to talk to this, or Scott maybe?
Sure. Right now we have 5 test sections planned, although stand by for updates as progress continues. We may adjust those depending on the physical construction progress. Right now, the Silver Spring area would be section 4.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I apologize there. I thought I was unmuted. I do see Joel, you have your hand raised. Joel, do you want to ask a question, or did you use your hand raised from before?
So I had a question on my email accounts. You have both of them on Comcast?
We do. We have both of them, Joel.
In my Yahoo?
We sure do.
I have 2 of them, Yahoo account and my Comcast account.
We have both of those, Joel. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very
can
much.
email that information to me. Thank you.
You're very welcome. We will get it to you. I do see here there's some in the chat. I see Jacqueline is answering a question for Beth. I do see 3 questions from Todd. Excuse me. Todd, 1. He understands there is some reconstruction of the newly finished Littonsville Place Bridge. Are there other issues with the Talbot Street Bridge? Scott, are you able to speak to this?
Sure. I understand that you weren't able to make it on Tuesday with our Littonsville CAT meeting, but just briefly, we have some work that's underway at Littonsville Street Bridge that'll be going on to do a deck overlay on that bridge. There'll be some removal of a few inches of the concrete bridge deck and overlay with a latex concrete finish on that bridge. That'll be happening in the spring. That was an effort that we tried to complete this fall, but the temperatures have caught up to us, so there's asphalt paving work in the area that we're prioritizing. As the Talbot question, the Talbot Bridge, at present, there are not issues. We have some remaining punch list items that will be completed. There's still some fencing on the approach walls to get installed on the leading up to that bridge. But as far as the condition of the bridge and there's no elements of, that have to be reconstructed of that nature. The projected opening for the CCT right now, that is tentative for different locations of the project. We have the full construction of the CCT is anticipated completion in early summer, late spring, early summer. And we are still working through with the stakeholders to the timelines on opening that to the public, as it is a access throughout that corridor from Bethesda to Spring Street. There's limited access to do final adjustments to the catenary cable, so that the access for the construction work is via that trail, and there's a lot of safety conflicts with open public access to that in the meantime. So there'll be updates to come on that. And the progress on the 16th Street and Woodside Station, we are right now preparing to, the Woodside Station is started. There's the platforms have been placed, and we are entering a stage here this month where we'll be starting all of the structural steel elements, canopies, and platform railings and such that are constructed onto that platform station, while we are also preparing the rail bed for rail installations in that area. So I hope I answered all of those. It was quick.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. We do have a question here from Chris. Todd says, thank you very much for those answers. Thank you, Todd. Chris, I'm going to pass your question to Ricardo. Ricardo, Chris asks, are there any plans to resurface Wayne Avenue? I'm hearing from neighbors that it's still a bit of a bumpy ride. Ricardo, do you have any update on that?
Yes, of course. Yes. So the entire Wayne Avenue street will be completely resurfaced. That includes a milling of in some areas the wet is only, in some areas more than that, repave 2 inches. So that will the timing we need to wait for warm temperatures for that. So that will be starting around April next year. Although we're also planning for previous resurfacing that will take care of the worst areas, the most bumpier areas through Wayne Avenue. Like we are aiming for doing those on November.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Chris says thanks. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to jump back to the business grant question. I think Ray has some thoughts he wanted to chime in here with. Ray?
I appreciate that, Chris. I did want to, I see some questions in the chat there from David and others. We do have the acting secretary, Jacqueline Hartman, online, who is able to answer some of those questions there, so we can actually answer the questions. I'll pass it over, introducing Jacqueline to come on to answer those questions there.
Good evening, everybody. And I would just say assistant secretary, not acting secretary. I don't want to take the acting secretary's job from her.
Oh, yes, sorry about that.
No problem. Jacqueline Hartman, assistant secretary for transportation investments for the Maryland Department of Transportation. Thank you for the questions about the business grants program. I did ask or answer the one question about the opening date eligibility requirements in the chat. So we did change that date to be responsive to business concerns. We did change that in round 3, which is currently now open. So I do encourage you to, if you were not eligible in the past, to take a look at the new eligibility requirements in round 3 to see if you are now qualified. I'll jump to David's question and then come back. Looks like Beth may have a follow-up. So David, there was a question about the businesses on Bonifant and why we are not kind of directly targeting those businesses. Ultimately, this is a project running across an entire 60-mile alignment. We are trying to focus on businesses that have been impacted all along the alignment. Montgomery County did do a grant program that was directed specifically to Bonifant Street businesses. And so we are trying to make sure that we are both supplementing that grant program through the state grant program, but also addressing many of the other businesses along the alignment that are also impacted.
Jacqueline, thank you for answering that. Do you want to, Beth, do you have a follow-up question about the business grants that Jacqueline can answer for you?
Yes. So I saw the updated time for the businesses, but still, like, I opened my business a couple months later. Well, not later, but I think the timeline is July of 23, but I opened my business in October of 23. So I was wondering if that would disqualify me, or I'm not sure, but I mean, we've been affected like tremendously. Our business is basically depending on foot traffic on that street, and that's kind of impossible considering the ongoing construction. So I don't know if you consider that eligibility for this round.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that additional information. So unfortunately, you would still be ineligible in this grant round. We are trying to be responsive as we're hearing concerns about the business grant program and change those eligibility requirements as we move along. I mean, we are a little more focused on some of those businesses that have been, dealing with these impacts for much longer periods. And so that's why we do have an opening date criteria. We do expect, though, that over time that date is going to change probably in each grant round. So, I would encourage you continue each time we do one of these grant rounds. So this is the last grant round for 2025, but we'll have another additional 3 grant rounds in 2026. I would encourage you to look back at those eligibility requirements then, and I would expect you see one that ends up hitting your kind of targeted opening date.
Perfect. Thank you, Assistant Secretary Hartman. Very much appreciated. I see there's a couple follow-up questions from David. If I can ask you these, Assistant Secretary Hartman, I understand needing to impact businesses that are impacted all along the alignment, Bonifant Street included. Why not simply make any business that is right on the alignment eligible for a grant, regardless of whether they opened on July 1st, 2023 or later, even a few months ago?
Understood. Yeah, I mean, ultimately there are 800 businesses, the small businesses along the entire alignment. And we do have very limited funding to be able to impact all of those businesses. So we did have to kind of set some criteria around those grant funds. And we are trying to be responsive and kind of move that that target date as we go through the grant round process. But we do want to really recognize some of those businesses that have been fully impacted for much longer periods than over the last 2 years.
I'm just going to come on camera, and this will be the last thing I say to this. So, like, Cafe Via Roma has been basically had to close down because of Purple Line construction, and I think this is the business we're talking about on Bonifant Street, and it just seems to me just strange that they couldn't get a grant because of their opening date, which is now almost 2 years, into it. Whereas plenty of other businesses certainly have been suffering for longer, but they've also been eligible for grants and have been getting grants. I just think you guys need to think again about your criteria. Just look at who's being impacted and hasn't gotten a grant yet, and give those people the opportunity to apply for one. Thank you.
Appreciate that feedback. Happy to meet with you at another time just to kind of talk through the grant program a little bit more. But happy to do that. Appreciate the feedback.
Thank you very much, Assistant Secretary Hartman. Appreciate it. I do see, I don't see any more questions in the chat, nor do I see any more hands raised. But if you have any more questions, additionally, our team is happy to take emailed questions for a week after this meeting, as well as any other time. But if you have any questions about the CAP meeting this evening, or you have some follow-ups, you can reach out to our outreach team at outreach@purplelinemd.com, by October 23rd, which is next week. Again, that's outreach@purplelinemd.com.